much for joining us this afternoon. Lee Armstrong, WLTV, TV 38, the NBC affiliate here in beautiful Columbus, Georgia. Got another great conversation with you. A wonderful host, as beautiful inside as out, and that is just the truth. Okay, First Lady Monica Coleman from New Birth. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh, thank you.
And she kept her commitment to come, even though it was raining. And you know how we drive in Columbus when it's raining. But you made it here all right. I'm going to jump in there because I want to get as much of this conversation going as possible. I was a little provocative earlier, you know, trying to make sure that you guys are ready for a conversation today. And the question that I put out there was, is the church relevant today? And there is a conference that you're having which is geared towards women.
Yes.
And pastors everywhere are saying the counseling that they're having to do is just so intense. Mm-hmm. Is the church relevant today for women?
I think for the most part, I know our church, we're trying to be. I know, there are times where we may not be, but that's the whole point of having this conference, mm-hmm. is to invite women of all different ages and backgrounds. And, we put a big push to invite our young ladies, our teenagers, mm-hmm. our college students, because we want them to know that they are women as well. You don't have to be 40 to be a woman, and we've all been through the things that they're struggling through, and they will probably go through the things that we are struggling through as older women are now. So this conference, we are trying to make it more relevant for our young ladies, to make it exciting, to make it where they want to come and celebrate not only themselves, but Jesus and just what it means to be a woman.
What do you think about this, First Lady? I know when I was a little girl, I know people say, oh, here she goes. Well, it's the truth. When I was a little girl, there were more older people who were in your circle. When we sat on the porch, there was somebody's auntie or grandma. There was that older wisdom.
Right.
Now young people, as soon as they can, they take off.
Right.
And I think that we've come to a place where we're not teaching the younger girls, and since they haven't been taught by anybody older, they don't want to hear it sometimes.
You're right.
So the church is in a position to where they can hear that what I have to say can help you. Huh?
Yes, yes. So with me, I know I've made an effort to go out and to reach some of our younger ladies and just sit and have coffee with them or take them to lunch, mm-hmm. because we are missing that mentoring factor of taking our young girls and teaching them and showing them. They see us from afar, mm-hmm. and I know a lot of the feedback that I get is that they think we're perfect and we got it all together, mm-hmm. just because we're older, when I just let them know, I don't have it all together. Mm-hmm. I didn't have it together.
Let me tell you what happened to me.
Yes, let me tell you, I went through the same thing that mm-hmm. you're talking about now. So, and until they hear that, then they seem to struggle a lot more, not knowing that there is hope and there is mm-hmm. help and there is somebody that I can reach out to. Because a lot of times it's not very easy to go to your mother mm-hmm. and talk to her about things. But if you know there's a godly woman mm-hmm. who is within reach and who is easy to talk to, they'll be more willing to talk to.
Some of the topics that are so real to our young girls, and we're inviting you, give us your comments, and we're going to tell you how you can get to this conference, and you're going to be so excited about the speakers that she has for this conference. All that is coming up. But it seems that the issues that young girls are facing now, unless they came up in a home where they could talk to mama just about anything, they're not going to tell you that I'm feeling sexually stimulated, Mom. Mm-hmm. They're not going to tell you so-and-so smoked some reefer. It didn't hurt her, Mom.
Right.
And so there are some issues that are so real that they're holding in.
Yes.
And if they don't express it, they're likely going to make the wrong decision.
Right. And then they rely on their friends mm-hmm. who really don't have the right answer either.
Your girlfriend's just as crazy as you.
Yes. Right.
She may like you, and that's your boo, but she doesn't have any more insight or maturity than you do. So you're not putting her down. You're just saying, you know what, if I want some real answers, then I need to go somewhere else.
Right.
Without giving mm-hmm. any names or revealing any situations, what's going on with our young girls, maybe the teenagers? What do you hear?
Well, I think, it's what it was when we were younger. I mean, which is probably on a, more intense level, mm-hmm. I believe. So peer pressure, the pressure to, look a certain way, to act a certain way, to hang around certain people, even though they may not believe, they know that that's not the right group to hang around. Mm-hmm. Just the same things, but then they have to deal with all this social media stuff that's
Yeah,
just
I was
really
shocked and amazed the other day. I'm reading about Cam Newton, and I've always felt this connection with him. I don't know why. Maybe because I think his father was a pastor. He's from this area, you know, the Atlanta area.
Right.
And I was just reading he had his second child, and his girlfriend is a stripper. Now, I'm not putting down strippers, I'm like, when young girls see that because she got this man that's $45 million rich stripping, so maybe that's what I need to do.
Right.
I mean, how do you divert their attention and tell them, no, you just do this and make $8 an hour? You know, because she's a millionaire now. Because as long as she has those kids, she has money. The world is pulling.
Yes, the world is definitely pulling. And like I said, with that social media, you know, when I was growing up, we just had magazines. So, you know, you would see the Cindy Crawfords or the Naomi Campbells. But now it's like any and everybody can be, you know, famous. And so all of these pictures, all of these women, just ordinary women who are posing and, you know, trying to become famous. So all the young girls think, well, I can do the same thing if I look like her, you know, instead of, you know, the high fashion type thing. So it's just so much more exposure that they have. And, you know, we've had this talk with our young girls. We have a sleepover once a year with our girls from ages 9 and up to seniors in high school. Oh yeah, it's a big night. But we have a great time, and one of our time sessions we have is girl talk. And so we'll split them up in age groups, and we talk with our teenagers. And it's just amazing what the things they say, the things that they tell us is going on in their schools. And, you know, and most of our girls that come, we have some that come from the community, but some that are, you know, members of our church. And they, you know, they tell us what the girls who are out in their, you know, in their schools who probably don't have a solid foundation at home, the things that their friends have to encounter, and the things that the way they think and the way they make decisions. It's really difficult. So we have to, especially as a church, find a way to reach not just our girls in our church, but all of the girls that are out there and just don't have that role model.
My daughter's raising a young son now. He's 11, and she called me yesterday. She said, "Mom, he's lying. Mom, he's telling me that this is happening and it's not happening, and I'm getting called up to the school." And I told her, I'm going to tell you what I learned from raising kids, is that it's not being right as a mom that's important.
Right.
What's important is that I'm preparing this child to live a good life.
Right.
You know, because she's like, he makes me so mad. I said, look, it sounds like you want to fix him. You want to get him back. Leave that alone.
Right.
So I think girls need to know that when they tell their mom something and they know they may have disobeyed, strayed, or whatever, that mom's not out to, I'm gonna get you.
Right.
You know, that the point is, I love you. What you did, I'm not crazy about, but I'm not out to fix you.
Right. And that's very important, is to not condemn, you know, our children.
Yes.
I know we get emotional and we're really, you know, worried about their well-being, and we want to just tell them what not to do, what not to do. But as we know, and I know growing up as a teenager, that didn't help, you know, telling me what not to do, but showing me.
It didn't help one bit. It took me years to understand. My mother used to say, why are you going through this stuff? You know? And I'm like, Mama, if I tell them one more time, maybe they'll get it.
Yes.
But and then there's patience.
Yes.
We have to have patience with something. Yeah, a lot of patience.
A lot of patience, and to really just be prayed up. I try to be prayed up every day. You know, my daughter is not a big talker, and she doesn't
How
really.
old is your daughter now?
She's 15, almost 16.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm right there.
Okay, yes.
But she's very, you know, she'll talk to me. I know when she has something to talk to me, but she just, you know, doesn't. She tells me there's nothing going on. She's like, I have a very boring life, Mom. There's nothing going on. So, you know, I know that when I try to get her to talk, you know, I try to make sure she knows that I'm not going to condemn you, or even your friends, if it's something going on with your friends, that, you know, that you feel safe to talk to.
I wish I had known that. When my kids revealed some things to me, I think one time I fell on the floor. I said, oh, I honestly did.
Right.
I said, oh, no, you didn't. And when I think back, that probably shut everything down. From then on, it's like, I will never tell my mother anything else. I literally fell at the floor when my son came to me with some stuff that was going on. Wow. We want to say hello to Carol Ann Kaplan. Carol Ann, I know you have a young girl. This conference is something that would interest you. Rhonda, I know you have a little boy. And do you have an older girl too? Rhonda Brown German joins us all the time. Okay. Deborah Sykes says, can't tell what a child will not do when they see the parents doing any and everything. Ooh, whoa, that's true. Good. That's good.
Yes.
And hello to you, Toya Tucker and Sheen Ricks for joining us. I'll put you on the spot here. What would you give 2 or 3 pieces of advice to make church relevant? Because there's this old thing where we dragged our children to church. Mm-hmm. Can you set up a scenario where at some point they want to go to church? What do you do as a mom to make them want to go to a place where you believe the answers are?
Mm-hmm. Well, I know with us, with my husband we've been in the ministry since our children were babies. So we did drag them to church, literally, because we had to take them every time, because we were just involved in ministry and doing things. So in the car seats and strollers, they would come. And they grew up loving their friends and just loving the people that they have.
So it's relationship.
They can make friends. If you as a parent have relationship with the church people, you're not just going, on Sundays and that's it. But you come and you're involved in ministry. Your children, those people that you're involved with, will become your extended family, and so those will be your children's family as well. So they would want to come and see their family. Now, as they get older, it's really up to the church to make sure it is relevant for them. You want to have service for them, just like with the teens. I mean, it's so important to have a youth pastor and to have service geared towards them, whether it's Bible study, and do things that the children would like to do.
Something too, and I can say I probably was guilty of this too, because this is something we did. It seemed like when I was growing up, is that when we saw, we would say, that's a little fast little child right there. And you would kind of stay away from them. But that was so wrong and so unchristian. As older women, when we see a girl who may be what we say is fast, we need to be showing her love, don't we?
Yes, we do.
We need to embrace her. So I think my generation, we messed up. We held them to such a high standard, and when they didn't, then we just washed our hands of them. But we see what happened.
Yes.
If we don't go out and compel them to come in and let them know. When I tell people this, and it's still kind of crazy, I don't even know if I should say this on Facebook Live, but I will say this anyway. Jesus is my boyfriend. I tell them, they say, what are you doing? Why aren't you dating or whatever?
Oh, wow.
I said, I've done that. I do hope to have a relationship, but right now, Jesus fills that gap for me.
Yes.
And if we can somehow let them know that the urge to be sexually active doesn't go away, but the ability to control it is there when you make something bigger than that.
That's correct.
And to me, that bigger than that is God.
Exactly.
But I don't think that concept exists out in the world today. It's you got this urge, do it.
Right. And it's not just the young ladies that have that problem. It's older women as well. And it's just, I tell a testimony to our young ladies all the time, and even some of our older ladies, about when I was in college. And, of course, I was, I was saved back when I was 13, and, just because that's what everybody was doing. I knew Jesus, I knew he loved me, and I knew that he was my Lord and Savior. But it wasn't until I got into college that I just really started falling in love with him, for sure. And then I met my husband, who was my fiance at the time, and of course, you fall head over heels, and you just kind of, I didn't forget about church, but, my main focus was him and not God. And so I think he put us in a situation where he separated us, and, I was brokenhearted, and I turned, thank goodness, I turned to God, and he got me through that.
Help me.
And he did, and he satisfied every hurt, every need that I needed. And so I've taken that with me throughout my life, and knowing that he is my priority. And that's what I try to teach young ladies, especially those who have been single for a while, and they're like, well, where is my husband? When's he coming? I'm like, until you are content with Jesus, until it doesn't matter if no one comes, you're content with him, then he'll come before without even realizing it.
I guess I'm too, I don't know. I'm going to say it anyway. There are some women who will take a piece of man.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to, I'll
That's
take
right.
a piece of man.
Yes.
At least I got a piece of man.
That's the wrong attitude.
That's the wrong thing. The
Yes.
wrong thing. Okay, let them know who's coming to the event, and we'll get the dates and the times and how they can sign up.
Okay. Well, we have 2 international guest speakers that are coming, Robert Madu and Joe Saxton. Robert Madu just spoke at the Mega Fest at the Potter's House, at T.D. Jakes' house, but I heard him speak at a women's conference at a local church in Arkansas, and he was just phenomenal, and he just blessed our hearts, and I was just so
and he's
impressed.
a younger guy.
He is a younger guy.
I mean, you can relate to him. The
Yes.
the girls can look up and say, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I can marry a Robert Madu.
Yeah.
I can hold out for that.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And so they see that that it's real. It's not
Right.
just something mama's telling them.
Right.
And then, but his sermons cross generations.
Yes,
Don't they?
they do. They do. So he speaks at youth conferences, women's conferences, men's conferences, church conferences. He's been at Hillsong in Australia many times, but his message, I tell you, it excites just about every generation. I know it excites me, and it
Yes.
really gets me motivated and encouraged. A lot of his messages are about encouragement.
And you guys go ahead and look him up on YouTube, Robert
Yes.
Madu. How do they sign up for it or get tickets, and the dates and the times?
So the date is in less than 2 weeks. So September 8th, Friday night, and Saturday morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You can visit our website, www.uniteconference.org. Or you can go to or call our administration office, and she can even take a payment over the phone, or if you want to deliver your payment to the office, that will be completely great up until the day of conference. If you can't get out there and you want to come on the day of the conference, I think we have some open seats available, so you can register Friday at 5 o'clock. Registration opens at 5 o'clock on Friday.
And you know, there's a lot of talk going on. You probably heard about the Joel Osteen incident with the Houston flooding. A lot of talk about whether or not churches are relevant, if they're really concerned with the people. Now we know that there is this going on. Grab your kids, okay, and bring them. If you have to promise them ice cream when you go home.
Well, they will have a lot of fun. You know, especially our teen girls. It's going to be dancing and music and praise and worship, and just an awesome, awesome time. We even have an after party Friday night.
See? Okay. Well, thank you so much. It's always such a pleasure every time I see you. Thanks for joining us. And you guys share this. I know some of you are watching at work, and you're kind of watching and not watching. Go back and look at it again. Give us your comments. And I do appreciate you joining us every day. I want to say thank you so much to those of you who are playing with us to get those tickets to Callaway Gardens. And the winners this go round are Amanda Mohan and Robin Robinson. Okay, so I'll be inboxing you. You got tickets to see the balloon. You ever been in one of the hot air balloons?
I have not.
Me neither, and I'm not going. But for those of you who want to go up in the air, say, hook me up, D. I want to go to Callaway Gardens, and we'll give away the rest of the tickets tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching.